I'm Benny. Welcome to my garage. This week, we're doing a thing. It's this. There's this stuff in here. What is it? Well, it's a pedestal for a Statue of Liberty. And it's seen better days. It's May now, but July is coming up, and the 4th of July right there. So really, we're looking at a little more than a month away. And what happens this time of year is that all the performers who do like Uncle Sam, Statue of Liberty stuff, they start getting calls for gigs, and they have to pull out the stuff that they haven't used for a year since the last 4th of July. And this is one of those things. Now, this is for a living statue. And a living statue, if you don't know, is someone, they're dressed up, sometimes they're painted, sometimes they're just in a costume, whatever, and they stand there. And they're a statue, a living statue. And they'll move a little bit sometimes. They'll go over, kind of startle people, or take a picture, or do a little stuff, but most of the time, they're standing still. And before you think, oh, that's a simple job, I'd love to have that job, tell you what, I know a few of these people, and it's harder than you think. If you've ever tried to stand still without constantly, it's tough. It's hard. And if you accidentally lock your knees while you're standing there, your blood won't circulate and you'll pass out. It's a thing. Try it. As an added bonus, if you're a Statue of Liberty, you have to hold a torch in the air. Try doing that for an hour. Ugh. This needs some love. This is kind of old. It's got some things. There's some screws showing through. A lot of these corners aren't great. These little facings are okay. The paint job is dried up and kind of crappy from sitting over the years. It's dusty, it's dirty, and it doesn't look great. I think the person who made this, if I had to guess, it was a very hasty job, and they probably saw like one picture of the Statue of Liberty, and maybe it was at sunset or something, so everything looked bright and colorful. This is not what the Statue of Liberty pedestal looks like. It's more of a brown. Some pictures it's more of a red brick, but a lot of times it's just like a tan kind of a thing. But before we judge too hastily, let's take a closer look at this thing and see what it actually is. We got the top. The top is solid, right? We got this trim around here, then we got the base, and then we put these little things on that kind of resemble the real one. Inside, there is not much to this. And here's the reason. It needs to be light. The person using this needs to carry it around, so you don't want a lot of extra stuff in here. It's got the 4 corners, and then most of the structure is actually just the thin plywood sides. But because it's what is that called? Like not a pyramid, but it's not a box. It's not parallel. So the angles actually give it a lot of strength. And it's super, super solid for the person to stand on. It's not super big. It'd be nice if it were a little bigger. But this one was made just to barely fit in the back seat of a car for wherever they're going. So the last thing about whoever made this that you should probably know is, if you haven't figured out already, it was me. It was me. I made this a long, long time ago. She needed it last minute. I did it in like an afternoon. Honestly, I thought it was great at the time. Now I'm like, yeah, let's try and make it better. Okay, so looking at this thing, we're looking at the top here. How's the lighting? You can see where the paint's dried. The wood is cracked up a lot. The edges aren't great. A lot of the corners. Part of this is the wood drying out over the years and the paint shrinking. We got these things. These aren't super tough, but they're a nice little decorative touch. We got all these little brick things, and the paint has just kind of gone away over the years. It's dirty. People spill drinks on it. When they're standing there at a convention or something doing a statue, people will walk by, even though there's a person standing there working, they'll just put their drinks on here and do all sorts of stuff, and then they spill down So here's what I want to do. I want to sand this down. I want to fill. What are we doing? Why is this? Oh, okay. I don't know. The screen's being weird. So I want to sand this down. I want to fill a lot of this stuff, right? We're going to choose a slightly better color palette for this. A little more of a tan, a little brown kind of a thing. All right, step one. Step two. Let's find some stuff. It's mostly just the wood that I gotta sand. Maybe this bottom piece too. The sides, these bricks are some kind of a, maybe a linoleum or foam rubber or something that I cut out and actually glued on there, so they have like a real texture to them. The damaged issue is mostly the wood. This, get in these corners better. Yeah, a little. Paint just gums up when it gets too warm. Of course, then you're thinking, oh, you know, it could have been better, but you give it to the person and they're like, oh my God, it's so great, thank you so much, thank you. And that makes you feel good. I want to fix a couple of these screw heads that are sticking out. That's too slow. Oh, that's a sound. All right, while I was scuffing this, I found some of these little tabs are loose where it's been kicked or just moved around or whatnot. So make sure everything is stuck down good. Little reinforcement on everything. Now, I know I said this only gets used once a year, but here's the thing. So this white cover was on it. Probably needs to be washed. It's like a stretchy table cover. It gets put over this for like other kind of statue gigs where they're in like the all white or the bronze or that kind of a thing, and you just want a pedestal, but it doesn't want to look like the Statue of Liberty pedestal. But you still got it to use, so I guess it does get used a little bit more, but still. This build brought to you in part by whatever this is. Honestly, like with most props, from 10 feet away, this probably looked fine. It's the people that are up close, and you want things to look nice. Hopefully by the end of this will look better. Okay, almost done with the filling here. Just cleaning up some of these gouges. Starting to kind of mess it up. Needed to stop, let it dry. So here's the thing I just remembered when I originally made this car. When I originally made this, here, let me show you. So the living statues that are, say, like down at the Venetian Hotel or some other places, they'll lay there, and people, when they come up to take pictures with them, they'll tip. They'll lay down like $1 or a couple bucks or more. And so there'll be a little pile of money there. When I did this, so I made these things on the side. I made a slot here. This is open, and I was going to put a piece of plexiglass here. So you put like $1 in there so people knew that's where to do it. And then they could come up and stick the tip in there. That's a dumb thing. I don't know why I did it, but I just was looking at this, remembering, going, oh yeah, that's why I put a slot in there. Silly thing, but you know, I guess while we're sitting here waiting, I could look at some actual pictures. So here's one where the bricks look really red brick. I don't know if it has a filter on it because the trees in the background are pretty red and the buildings even have a little hue. Either way, it's very pretty. There's another one that's sort of normal. It's very tan, very bricky thing. Okay, here's one. So this just looks like gray, actually almost like this gray, but very dirty. If you look inside these things, that's brick as well. There's like a door up here. There's like an observation thing. Actually, that's up here. So this is a representation of the real thing. I think. And just like that, we're back. I let this dry overnight. It's as dry as it's going to get. Now on the real pedestal, I think this is like an observation deck. I think people come out and walk around here, and then down inside, I don't know if that's the museum and stuff or if that's in the bigger little star structure around it. I can tell you that the funding for the pedestal mostly came from the guy, who was the guy? The Pulitzer Prize guy. Joseph Pulitzer. He funded most of the pedestal. He was the guy. He owned like newspapers and stuff. He's actually the grandfather of clickbait. He was very big on the integrity of the papers and the importance of like proper news, but he was real big on what's the right word? Sensationalizing headlines to, you know, like make people want to read the story, that kind of a thing. So yeah, clickbait guy, Pulitzer. He wasn't the only famous guy to work on the Statue of Liberty. Eiffel, is it Gustav Eiffel? He's the Eiffel Tower guy. He designed the inner structure of the statue. After the statue designer guy, he did the outside skin, and then Eiffel did the inside. And part of the inside actually looks kind of like a human skeleton, like I guess it's got a spine and like a rib cage, and he designed it to sway in strong winds, like a tall skyscraper would. So you can kind of imagine that when it's windy out, Lady Liberty, she's really just like at a concert. Now, the designer guy was Frederick. Hey Siri, who designed the Statue of Liberty? He's got the little apostrophes over the E's in his name, so it might be pronounced different in, like, you know, French. Frederick Auguste Bartholdi. He designed the statue, but he didn't design the Statue of Liberty first. First, he had the idea of building a giant like lighthouse, and he was going to put it in the Suez Canal, and it was supposed to be a big robed lady holding a torch, and it was going to be a lighthouse. But Egypt said no. So then he was like, I'll tweak this a little bit, and then we'll give it to the United States. Also says Richard Morris Hunt. I don't know what he did, but he's on here. And when I grew up, I was told, I remember learning like there was like 3 replicas or something like that around the world. There's actually tons. There's hundreds of replicas of the Statue of Liberty. I guess there's like 30 of them at least in France alone. And they're all over, from Japan to everywhere else. There's parts in Paris, I guess, where you can stand and you can see multiples. They're just everywhere. One of a big, I don't know if you call it a replica or an artistic representation, is here in Las Vegas in front of New York, New York. Funny thing about that is, so a while back, the post office came out with a Lady Liberty stamp. And they were just like, hey, you know what? We don't have a contest or anything. Just go online, find a picture of the Statue of Liberty and use that on the stamp. Well, they went online, they got a picture of the Statue of Liberty, and they put it on the stamp. The stamp comes out, and they go, that looks different. The face looks different. The statue looks slightly different. Turns out they got a picture of the one from in front of New York, New York. Now, because that one's licensed by an artist, the post office had to go back and settle with that artist and pay him some money for using their using his statue on the stamp. Yeah, there's a museum down below, and then if you pay extra, you can go up into the crown, and you got to take it's like 150, 160 steps to get up there. There's no elevator. The Statue of Liberty is not handicap accessible. And then you get up there, and there's these tiny little windows, and you'd be like, oh, look, I'm looking out. Yay, I'm looking out. That's what you do up there. You can't go into the torch. You could originally, when they first built it, and the whole lighthouse idea, it was a lighthouse for like 15, 16 years, but it was a really bad lighthouse, and they were just like, we're not doing this anymore. But you could go up into the torch until like 1916, something like that, and then the Germans bombed New York. Yes, they did. The Germans bombed New York, and they blew up a munitions plant. The explosion reached the Statue of Liberty and broke the glass and damaged the torch. And after that, they were like, nope. No more, can't go into the torch anymore. Except Magneto took Rogue up there to try and turn everyone in New York into mutants. I don't think he was supposed to be there. I have heard that if you know someone in the Coast Guard, they're allowed to take people up there for private tours. So if you know anybody in the Coast Guard, call them up, thank them for their service, and say, hey, can we go hang out in the statue? And they'll be like, yeah, it's at like 4 in the morning or something like that. It's before it opens. You got to go, but, I mean, still, get your run of the Statue of Liberty. Actually, before it was sent to the U.S., when it was built and then disassembled overseas, it sat there for a while, and I guess France just like let people go in and climb around in it all willy-nilly like a tourist attraction. They're like, yeah, go, have fun, climb up in there, do stuff. Now again, in case we didn't cover this yesterday, we probably did. The bottom of this, all these bricks, this is texture and this is fine. The main spot, the main spot that people are going to see and that I want to look pretty is this top part, a little bit around the bottom, the hardwood sections. Not that it's made of hardwood, it's made of probably pine and stuff, but you know, the harder than the foam bricks. Alrighty. Let's see if this is still good. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your paint can. Shake your paint can. That looks good. New stickers. New stickers. Oh, by the way, so a while back I had a little sticker giveaway and only a few people took me up on it, but one of them was Rich from Illinois and he was like, yeah, I love stickers. And I just the other day found the envelope that I thought I mailed out like a couple of months ago. So you never got your stickers. I'm sorry. I apologize. But the upside of that is that your stickers will now include some of the new little AI Benny stickers. Sorry. 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 Because we're a big fancy YouTube channel and we have stickers. Whew. Uncle Benny's garage. It's like watching paint dry. Let's just move on to when this is done. Now the bricks are going to be brick again, and this very top part is going to be the green. Very originally, the statue was like polished copper, right? Gets struck by lightning all the time. There's like burn marks on it. But copper oxidizes or, corrodes or whatever, and it turns that green color. So there's a group, like a historical group, that is all like, save the statue, save the statue, save the clock tower. They want to keep polishing it and keep it pretty. And the statue people are like, well, no, here's the thing is once it corrodes and patinas like that, that oxidation layer actually protects the copper underneath from wearing away further. So if you kept polishing it, eventually you'd polish away the whole thing and they'd have to build a new one. And that went along for a while, and then that group or another group like it was all like, you know what, we think you're just trying to save money. Save the statue, save the statue. So they got like some guy, some expert guy, probably from a university somewhere, and they were gonna have him come in and debunk the lies from Big Statue and say, we wanna be able to polish this thing. And then the guy from university was like, no, actually they're right. The oxidation layer, or whatever it is, does protect the copper underneath. So it's best to just leave it. The group was like, oh man. But then the statue people were like, of course, wait, really? So they really kind of were just looking to save money. And then they're like, oh, thanks for backing us up there. Of course we knew that. We're statue people. We knew that. All right, let's talk about yesterday. The paint I ended up getting, let's start with that. I got some red oxide because it's very bricky, And then I got some burnt umber, because they kind of go together. That combined with some white, some black, some stuff I did already have, I figured I could do the brick colors. Now, as far as the cracks, the damage, the old stuff, that all came out fine. It looks great. Talk about the new paint job. Obviously, I wasn't going for anything like hyper realistic or anything like that. Trying to stay within my own skill set, but I also didn't want anything too cartoony or too basic looking. I figured I would do the base color and then do like a lighter and a darker, you know, like the shadows and highlights, sort of. And hopefully it would come out with, you know, at the very least, a community theater, theatrical brick level. I know the real one, it's supposed to be it's all made of the same brick, but I did want some tone difference. I wanted like the little things on the sides to stand out, so I ended up doing the darker color as the base behind, and then I did the red over that on those, just so they'd look different. And originally, I was like, oh man, I think I'm making a mistake, because they started to look really Halloween-y. By the time I got more red on there, and then the gray, lightened them back up, I think they turned out okay. The other thing is, by the end of the afternoon yesterday, you know, you're sitting here working on it. You're looking at it this close. You're like, oh, I don't like that splotch. Oh, I don't like that splotch. You know, you got to step away. So let it dry overnight. Come back this morning. I think it's fine. This is going to be green, obviously, and that'll happen. I wanted this to be really dry, obviously, before you put masking tape or anything over it. I don't know yet if I want to clear this to protect it. It might just be fine the way it is. Paint seems to dry pretty hard. So what I did with the blotchies, so I had this gray scrubby pad, and I just cut it up into pieces, and I made like little stipple brush out of it. And then you get the paint on it, you test it to make sure it's not too saturated, and then you just dab. I was thinking the little blotchies were too small. Maybe I should have used a sponge. The problem is when you start to get lazy, and you're like trying to finish, it's real easy to start putting a pattern in it that you don't want. And with the bigger sponge, it's a bigger mistake. So I just kept going with these little things. You need so much space to kind of keep it as much paint on there as you want, like keep it dry. I gave up on my little lid palette here, and I just started using the table. I can clean that all off later. Now, if you're a real scenic guy or an artist or just anybody smarter than me, tell me what I could have done to make this come out better. What should I have done? Did I do the order of the colors wrong? Did I choose the colors wrong? Is there a better technique? Well, I got you. If you're enjoying dumb garage projects, give us a like. Subscribe if you want to. Thanks.
Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your painting.
That lens is dirty. Hold on.
Shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your painting. Shake your painting.
Gotta let it dry. All right, there's one more thing I want to do to this. Okay, so this is regular grip tape, like you'd put on a step somewhere or outside where you don't want to slip. It's very gritty, it's very grippy, but it's also black. We just painted this thing. We don't want to make it black. There's some other stuff too. We have this, which these are meant to go on like wooden interior stairs, like nice. They're clear, more of an opaque, but we can put this on there. Here's the other thing is, this is so grippy right? They're wearing like a flowing dress while they're statuing, right? That dress is going to catch on this. Every time they move, when they step up and down, this is too grippy. This is not as grippy. It's actually got kind of a smoothed over feel to it, but it's still got a texture. I think we're going to use this. It's a fun project. I like this kind of stuff. Okay, here's the thing is the 4th of July is still a couple weeks off. I don't want to wait another couple weeks to finish this video for you. So I don't have a finished picture of them standing on it at the gig. So I can show you an old picture from like years and years ago of someone standing on this as a Statue of Liberty. Okay, and then here's an artistic representation of what I'm sure they look like on it now. Oh yeah. Hey, thanks everybody for stopping and watching. I do really appreciate it. If you liked any part of this video, come on back and see what we're doing in the future. Thanks again. Cheers. Oh, geez, are you still on? All right, hold on. I'm almost done with this.